Good evening. Welcome to Pulse by Bloodline on iEnt Live. My guest this evening is International Soca Monarch college boy Jesse. Jesse, welcome to Pulse by Bloodline.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you.
Same here. It's been a while.
So we'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell me something about your beginning, where you're from, where you're born, where you grew up, that kind of thing, your family, you know.
I'm born and raised in Kunupia. Comes from a family of, it's 4 kids, I being the last. And so that's basically the foundation.
So you are mommy's spoiled child.
That's what I say, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So born and raised in the Kunupia community, that is central Trinidad. Lived there majority of my life, up until probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And everything started for me in Central. I went to Enterprise Government Primary School. And everything started for me in Enterprise Government Primary School. Participation in music, participation in sports. And that's the foundation there.
So sports and music were basically your main hobbies?
Yeah, sports and music throughout the majority of my life. Up until 2012, when I hung up the boots. I hung up the boots at football and then I started specializing a little more, some more focus with music.
So as a young fella, football was the main thing back then, right?
Yeah, but we started with track and field, to be honest, because my father have a background in track and field.
Who's your father?
Lennox Stewart.
The national athlete?
Yes. So he represented Trinidad in track and field. He's also an Olympian. He represented us in the 72 Munich Olympics and Pan Am Games and all these other games back in the day. So all my siblings, we started off running track. And we all made the transition from track and field into football when I was probably like 11 around 11 years. We made the transition where we were like, okay, let's try something else.
But doing the track and football, I guess that started in primary school, right?
That started in primary
school. And went into college.
Yes.
Which college you went to, by the way?
I went to Presentation College, Shogunas. Yeah.
Right. And tell me something about the football experience, your football experience. Where it started?
It started in primary school. I played in Standard 5, representing the school in Standard 5. And then in secondary school, I played intercol for Prayers. And I also played for Joe Public at the under 16 and under 18, and also the reserve pro league teams in Joe Public. I received an athletic scholarship at UTT for football, coached by Gally Cummings, who was our coach there. I captained the team from my second year to my last year. However, my third year, I was selected for the national senior team. This team was coached by Russell Atapi in 2010. So that is basically, my little background with football.
How you transition from that to music?
Music has been a part of my life even while I was playing football. So that is the thing. I started with music when I was 7 in primary school, competed in the Calypso competitions, and straight through primary school, secondary school, even while I was playing football, I've been competing in Calypso and performing in the National School Soca Monarch. Even while I was in UTT, I competed in the competitions in UTT, and at the same time I was still releasing music. So in 2009 I started releasing music professionally. So even while I was on the national team, I had music on the internet, and I would be performing too locally in the small fests. I did Fire Fest in 2009 with the Millionaire Family. That was Fire, Army, Wassa, all those fests in those days, and even during that time I was playing on the national team. So it's been a situation of me trying to balance both, the love and passion for music and still make sure that I could represent well with sports.
who were some of your influences in the music part of it?
It started, I would say, at home. I have my elder brother. He's also a music producer, Mr. Spine. So he was the one that was more serious when it comes to dedicating totally to music. While I was trying to juggle, school, music and football, he was the one that, was focused on strictly the music. And throughout the years, I've seen the successes that he gained as a producer and also as an artist manager. So I would say he is the first person that I would look to. He was the one to advise and guide me musically too.
What's his name?
Mr. Spine.
Mr. Spine?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So he's known as Sean Stewart, but his name in the industry is Mr. Spine.
Right.
He produced and write music and work with a lot of artists. He even managed Mr. Killer from Grenada, who won the Soca Monarch before me. So I would say he would be that person. Also throughout the years, I had so many other people that I crossed paths with, Macamillion being one of them, who introduced me to a lot more in the business side of how the industry works. Him and his experience as a promoter, I learned from Macamillion. I also had mentors such as, Doggy Slaughter, Ronnie McIntosh. I had Blacks who would give my advice. I have, so much people that I work with throughout the years. Alison Hines, who would sit and chat with me about the industry and give my little 2 cents and advice on how to go about my business. And also I had the opportunity to write for her and another artist also.
Tell me something. So you compose as well?
Yeah, I write songs also.
Happy was your song?
Happy was written by myself, co-written by my wife, Colleen Stewart, and also we worked with ghostwriters, Steve Seeley Jr., who did the production. Yeah.
Okay, so that's about the soca side kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in Calypso,
Yes.
who are some of the older fellas? Who are some of the guys that you admire? And like?
Kitchener was the first person, because when I started in primary school, Kitchener was like the king of Calypso. This is the artist that everybody would try to mimic, in terms of delivering your Calypsos.
Yeah.
So Kitchener would be the first one, as the years go by, I was introduced to Sparrow's work and I started to look at Sparrow's stuff too, and those were the guys. Sparrow and Kitchener were the guys,
right.
yeah, when it comes to Calypso, yeah.
Okay, so your brother managed Killer.
Yes.
Yeah. He won Soca Monarch.
Yeah.
And then he produced you.
Yeah.
You won Soca Monarch.
Yeah.
Tell me something about the whole Soca Monarch experience. How you entered it, why you entered it, how it felt doing it, that kind of thing.
So, my brother and I, we always had a different approach to how we managed, the music business, the soca music business, that is. And whereas everybody would look at it as a competition thing, for you to make it, you had to compete and do. We believe that the music is bigger than the competition. We always believe that you have to present quality project, and we always look at the other genres, whereas there's no reggae monarch, there's no hip-hop monarch. From the time you consider yourself a professional, there are other ways to manage that, and you don't need to compete. Competitions are for development and are for younger acts, to get their name out there. So that's how we always look at it. So for many years, I didn't compete at all at the Soca Monarch stage. However, as a songwriter, I had many songs in the finals. I've had songs I written for Lyrical, Adana Roberts, a lot of artists throughout the years that made it to the finals, and I didn't compete at all because I tried to take different steps. Throughout the years, I traveled, I went to the US, I went to the region, different stages trying to get my music out there. Because as a young artist, you would have challenges to get the right airplay and all these things. So my strategy was to go to these stages and try and sell my music to the live audience. So I did it locally, I did it in the UK, Europe, America throughout the years. But then we realized that the general public still didn't know who College Boy Jesse was. And by understanding the industry, we get to learn that you need to be on the Soca Monarch stage to help that.
Yeah.
And this is why we decided to enter the Soca Monarch last year. When we wrote the Happy song, the intention really wasn't to use this song for we didn't know what song we was going to use at all. But Happy song turned out to be the song that I got the most love for and response from the fans. So when we made the decision to say, all right, this year we're going to enter the Monarch, because we want people to know more who College Boy Jesse is, what I could deliver as an entertainer. We entered, and we look at every single stage. It was a situation of me presenting the best of me. It wasn't a situation of, I go in this thing and I want to win and I go and beat this one and that one. It's never about that. It's just about me presenting what I could do as an entertainer. So the semi-finals, I gave my all. We spent a set of money, trying to present myself the best way. And people was like, if you could do all that in the semis, what are you going to do for the finals? Because you give me all. And then after the semis, we topped the table. So they announced the top people who were selected for the finals when we are about to draw for positions for the finals. And when they announced it, everybody was kind of like surprised that, College Boy Jesse top the table moving into the finals. We weren't surprised because we knew what we delivered. So on a night for the finals now, our main objective again was to present something better than you did in the semi-finals. So we went all out in preparation for it. We worked with the likes of Cavallo Productions, who is also responsible for winning titles with Bunchy Garlin, Marshall Montano. They are good at creating productions. So if I am to present the best of me, I have to work with the best. So that's just how we look at it. And we work with these guys. We were able to put on a good show on the night. For the entire week, I had no voice because I was also performing in various fetes in the season. And it was a situation of, okay, the day before, they banned me from talking so that I could rest the voice and I could be ready for the show. And it was just that situation of, okay, we did all we could do. I received a call from my elder brother in the States, and he told me, I don't want to hear that you could have done this and could have done that. I want you to go out and give your all on the night and make sure you enjoy it. And that was the best phone call I could have received in that moment. At that moment, I needed to hear that. And that's all I focused on. So I went out on the stage and I did my best and focused on enjoying it too.
You talk about the Soca Monarch competition being a platform for young emerging artists.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate we have COVID and so many of them we haven't seen, but on social media I've been seeing a lot of young new people coming out.
Yeah.
Who amongst them you think are some of like the young ones that are coming up?
Yeah.
Some of your favorites?
Aaron Duncan.
Aaron.
I say it all the time. I've been fortunate enough to work with him in the past couple of years as a songwriter. I write Back to Basics was the most popular song that we did together. And Aaron was the artist that
when you say did together, what do you mean?
I wrote the song for him. I wrote Back to Basics for Aaron.
That was one of my favorite songs that year.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, so I wrote Back to Basics for Aaron, among other songs. And even this year for the virtual Soca Monarch, Aaron was the artist that I work with in regards to mentoring him. And I saw it important for me to play that role because Mr. Keller played that role for me last year.
Yeah.
And I believe that is what it's about. It's about us getting the experience and then sharing it with the younger ones.
Yeah.
Because I want this culture to last even while I go on. Even while I go on. And for me to keep it alive, I have to share experience and knowledge with the younger ones so they could do it better and carry it on.
I think you still have plenty more years ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a situation of I retire, I'm going to keep working and putting on music and
the young ones.
And lead by example by trying to make sure my quality is good and that type of thing and show them the way. But at the same time, it's important for us to do our part so we could encourage younger ones to want to be a part of it. And that's it.
I have reached the part of our conversation that I call blood pressure.
Yeah.
It's a trivia segment
Yeah.
where I ask you questions. They have either or answers.
Yeah.
And you have to answer. You have to pick one.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, already.
Okay. Shrimp or lobster?
Shrimp.
Football or cricket?
Football.
Lyrical or skinny fabulous?
Ooh, you put me on a spot here, boy. Hey, you put me on a spot. I worked with both of them before, and I would say lyrical because he's Trinidadian, and I'd be biased to that, you know. And he's actually the first person I was able to write music for.
Right.
Yeah.
Kite flying or drones?
Drones.
This next one kind of hard, tricky too.
Yeah.
Second star or pretty?
What you doing, man? Wow. Boy. What's the option? I can either or I don't have to answer. There's an option too.
You could have, yeah.
I can't answer this one. I mean, I have respect for both of them. I work with them, and yeah,
Yeah.
I can't pick between the both.
Barcelona or Real Madrid?
Real.
Prada or Giuseppe Zanotti?
Who?
Giuseppe Zanotti.
I'm not too familiar with these guys, you know.
Like shoes.
Oh, well, you see, I ain't familiar with them brands at all. But I think Prada, I think I'm familiar with Prada, so Prada.
Giuseppe Zanotti selling right now for how much, boy? About 1,000 US a pair.
Wow, well, you see why I don't know them brands.
BMW or Mercedes?
BMW.
Call of Duty or Warzone?
Call of Duty.
Country life or city life?
Country life.
You see, your pressure is reading very good. You come to flying colors. I want to get your views on the virtual performances. As you know, for the past year or so,
Yeah,
everything has gone virtual.
yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's a new norm. It's what we have to adapt to, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not my favorite thing to do because I was programmed
To have
to
people-
perform to people that we could
Mhm.
see. So it's been a challenge performing to the cameras and trying to give energy that we can't really, you know, see and feel. So it's not my favorite thing, but I guess it's the new norm that we have to adapt to,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we have
deal
to
with it, yeah.
find a way to make it work and do our job. So yeah.
You think that enough is being done by the state, the corporate world, promoters to stimulate the local music industry?
No, I would always say no to this answer because I always feel that there's more we could do. And it's not a situation of dependency. I guess it's a situation of somebody starting it and trying. And this is what I am attempting to do. Than just watching everybody and complaining. You know, we have to try. And I believe that the art form is bigger than just the season.
Yeah.
You know, Soca was created to unite our people, and unity should never be a seasonal thing. It should be a
Whole year. Yeah.
all year thing. And this is why, you know, my team and I decided to do our event out of the season, because that is our effort to show and promote our culture out of the season throughout the year, and hopefully that encourage other stakeholders to want to follow and make it something. So yeah, so that's just our attempt, and hope that, you know.
How was your event, by the way?
Unfortunately, we have to postpone because
Oh,
of the
right.
yeah,
The new restrictions.
The new restrictions provided, you know,
Yeah,
challenges
so
for us.
you think after the 16th, if they reopen,
Yeah.
you'll go again?
Yeah,
try it again?
definitely. So as long as we could do it, we'll.
As a young creative, what advice you'd have for, let's say, I'll be specific, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism?
Support is necessary. I guess it's a situation of, this is their job, this is their responsibility to support the culture. And I think is important that we look for avenues out of the season so that the culture by itself could expand to more than just us selling Trinidad and Tobago for January and February and early March or whatever. We could sell our culture throughout the year because the simple elements of our culture is what other nations grab, and this is what they use to sell their country, and they sell it throughout the year also. So I think it's important for us to look at solutions and opportunity for us to highlight culture, arts, and tourism 365.
You know, I tend to agree with you because, like, just the other night I was looking at NCIS New Orleans, and almost every episode of that show. Now this is theater, television, but the music, the unique music of New Orleans is always in every episode. The food. The other night they were selling barbecue alligator.
And throughout the year, that is a thing.
The whole year.
That is a thing.
I guess that is good advice. See, now you're giving advice. What advice do you have for young artists who want to get in? Because I know this business is very competitive. What advice do you have for young artists?
You have to believe in the culture. That is one. You have to believe that our culture is rich enough, and it should be respected, and it's just as good as anything else that they have out there. Because especially for the young artists, they're looking at alternatives of different genres to say hip hop and the reggae and the different things, because everybody want to go global. But my advice to them is to know that our culture, Soca, Calypso, Chutney, is just as good. And we have been in a place before where the world recognize our work. And that's the first thing. You have to believe that nothing is wrong with the music. We don't have to adapt to anybody thing for our music to be appreciated. We can see Calypso Rose getting awards in France with Calypso. That is, she changed nothing. She didn't change her accent. She didn't sing in the language. She didn't do anything.
Her birthday was this month. She's 80 something this month.
And that is a good example to show that nothing is wrong with our music.
You know, what is another good example? Soca, all these big Soca artists, Marshalls, etc., Super Blue, all them. You know, the biggest selling Soca song ever was by Kitchener.
Which song that was?
Sugar Boom Boom.
Biggest selling?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Because I that goes back all those decades.
Yeah, that was Charlie's Roots and them days. Because I remember it had Hot Hot Hot.
Hot Hot Hot
was huge.
Yeah, that was big.
Charlie's Roots, and they were able to distribute that, and a whole engine that they had, and that is good examples to show that this music was global. This music was selling more than the genres that we're familiar with today.
Yeah, you know, it came groups like Kalian back in the 80s, 70s. They were selling on the world market. Best-selling records. Kind of thing.
Exactly. So my advice to the younger ones is to believe that the art form is good enough. So don't fear that you can't make it global without it. We just have to know the business and apply the business first. That is important. Understand the business and work the business of the industry. It's important for us to learn it. Change every day because it have new things for us to how the functions are. But and work hard, study, research, and believe in God. Yes. Like people take that for granted, but I feel like I'm in this position because
divine.
So that put God first and trust me.
Okay, so we spoke about the state, we talk about the promoters, we talk about everything. Let's get back now to College Boy Jesse. What has COVID taught you most about yourself?
It taught me that I am stronger than I thought I was. I'm able to. My faith is also stronger than I expected because of all the so-called disappointments and uncertainties that I have experienced in the past year. It showed me that I'm able to bounce now, and deal with all the obstacles and find creative ways to overcome them. And that's
okay. Just my final question to you is: where do you see College Boy Jesse in the next 20 years?
In the next 20 years, I will still be performing. I believe I would still be performing, but also I will be responsible for a structure that supports other talents locally. We already started, trying to prepare that foundation for that structure, and I would be responsible for cultural artists, their business. Also, they say Soca do have pension plan.
That's very true.
And this is something that I'm trying to. They must have a solution where could have a pension plan, that structure in place. And this is where I would be in 20 years. I would be performing and also be responsible for a proper structure. If we want to call it a label, it's a label. If it's not a label, some system that culture is promoted to the world and the creatives are protected financially and, moving forward. Yeah.
Jesse, I must thank you for coming and spending some time with us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
I have been speaking with International Soca Monarch college boy Jesse. This has been Pulse by Bloodline on iEnt Live. See you next week. Ciao.